Hello viewers, Super Ohms here again. My very first GT race in Forza just so happened to be the single most insane and fun race I've ever had in multiplayer, and I think you'll understand why soon. It was a literal last to first challenge, but with actual people. Last time, we featured the 3 mandatory qualifier races in Forza Motorsport, where I demoed the masterful strategy of utterly melting my front tires, then wondering why the car wouldn't turn anymore. Luckily, some absolute lunatic decided to award me an S rank in safety and a 4800 skill rating after these events, which means I can now put on my big boy pants and race GT cars. We're at Lime Rock, which is super exciting because not only do I absolutely adore this track, but it's also way too small for GT3s, which always tends to make the racing super chaotic and fun. I also had an epiphany on the back of my glorious front-wheel drive scrubfest from last week that perhaps, just perhaps, using default car tunes in Forza may not be the way. So I employed a little-known strategy called nerding out on Forza's physics engine all night, followed by applying a not at all, utterly extreme and broken setup to my 911 GT3. Now here in our last practice session lap, we already have somebody being sent to the Shadow Realm preemptively. You may also notice that my 911 GT3 is absolutely carving up this track, especially the slalom here, which I'm sure has absolutely nothing to do with me not applying a completely broken setup that has completely transformed the car and shaved several seconds off my lap times. I decided to throw a wrench in the works, kind of on purpose. As you can see in a master stroke, I have allowed the practice session to end without actually putting in a qualifying lap. What this usually means is that I'm going to start at the rear end of the grid. Will it be a masterstroke, or will it have all of the intellectual finesse of setting my tires alight last week? Only time will tell as we look at our gorgeous Grello Manti Porsche here right at the end of the grid, 15th out of 15 as we line up on the grid, engines are on, everything's hot, and it's a go. Brenticus in front of me immediately goes into the Shadow Realm, then phases back into reality just as I'm about to go through him. No idea what happened there. We've already gained 3 positions on the straight. Slams the brakes on the apex there. I rear-end him, unfortunately. Is he an AI? Is he a person? Only time will tell as we get an absolute scrum up ahead of us. Now, we've already gained 5 positions in the first turn. C8R almost flying off the track. Joyful just barely keeping on to the rear end there. We've already lost another on the right. We are now in 9th position, from 15th to 9th in 2 corners as we approach the very iconic slalom complex here at Lime Rock Park. Now hopefully we establish a bit of a conga line, a bit of a train. No, as the C8R takes his own line way on the outside, we slot in behind J-Mill 752. As I get broadsided from the left, cars flying off the track every which way. We gain another 2 free positions here. He overbrakes on the apex and I tap the rear end of his car unintentionally and he broadsides me yet again onto the grass this time. I've got to say that seems semi-intentional to me. Is this the return of the the shameful Forza Rammers? Roller CW outbrakes himself on the outside. We gain yet another position, or rather gain back a position. We lose the C8R as J-Mill goes very defensive on me, and me perhaps overestimating the amount of space I had to make this overtake. Definitely not my proudest moment, but I was getting a little bit over this shameless ramming rapport he and I were developing. There is, after all, a podium up ahead, there are cars to catch, and I must get to work. We're now, believe it or not, in 4th. Absolute chaos erupting behind us in those small glimpses we can see. We're rapidly closing on the podium positions. I almost can't believe my luck at this point. I almost can't believe that I began dead last on the field. So that is 2nd and 3rd up ahead there, having a neck-and-neck race. Now that we're establishing a bit of space for ourselves, with J-Mill 3.5 seconds behind, Cosmic Rider 2.5 seconds in front, it may be a good time for me to bring up that were I to have hypothetically used a not at all broken and delineated from physical reality setup to make this 911 Porsche super nimble, you may want to subscribe to this channel and let me know down below if you want a Forza tuning guide for the GT cars, just in case that's something that may manifest in the near future. So an absolute neck-and-neck battle happening up ahead between 2nd and 3rd. Korea Aiden being knocked off, taking the sign out and spinning out. He is gone. And ladies and gentlemen, we are on the podium as we take the inside. Our great luck here on the final chicane of the track, we somehow managed to miraculously do that without any contact with Cosmic Rider. Was it a textbook maneuver? Do I owe one to the pagan gods? Who knows? Who cares? As we now consolidate second place. Datsu is 6 seconds ahead of us. We have half the race left to catch first. The fact that we're only 6 seconds behind first after starting dead last is comforting, but unfortunately, I don't do the best corner complex here. So Mr. Cosmic Rider is riding the hell out of our rear end, holding on a lot better than I ever expected in that heavy-ass Dodge Viper. Many props to him for some very great and respectful driving. So we brake hard, we try to use the nimbleness of the Porsche to our advantage here in the slalom. And would you believe that I've not made a single cut on this race? That is how action-packed it's been as we get into the chicane one more time. Demoing perhaps a very interesting drift line. You can tell that I don't do this layout very much as I get glued to the outside on the grass. Some dismal driving there, and I can only look back and apologize to my compatriot Cosmic Rider as I allow him graciously to take the inside for this next turn. Now rightfully, he takes the lead here, but I know that when I slot behind, this is my strategy. I know undercuts are this car's specialty. Off throttle, it is a rotation machine. You can see him flying off the grip. His car is much heavier than mine, a lot more powerful too, but I have the aero advantage here in the small track. So I know I can outbrake him here, I know I can glue myself to the rear of his car, and the idea is to stay as close as I can and get him on the straight next time we're on the start-finish line. So keep it nice and tight through here. No more shenanigans on my part. Not a terrible exit by my standards there. So we've got the final corner. I know I need to keep it pinned. Slight lift there, only as much as I need, and then pinning the throttle, getting a great exit through there. The arcane slipstream from Forza, once again giving me the lead here on the inside as I brake hard, once again taking the lead, staying on the rubbered-in line, and somehow Datsu has dropped back a full 4 seconds. He's now within... We can smell blood in the water. I mean, we can see him. Cosmic Rider and I know what the score is. Absolutely great racing from him. Respectful. Lots of space being given, especially given the fact that, once again, we would give our kingdoms for a radar or a spotter. Really nice cut on the inside there. These curbs can be absolutely obliterated in Forza. For some reason, they're not as elevated as one might expect. Now, I'm trying to get more aggressive through here, brake later and later and later, because the idea is to really go deep there and then come out nicely here, as I exactly didn't do. So we have a back marker going off the road into the Shadow Realm. We slot in behind Datsu now, 0.04 of a second closer than we were a moment ago, so he's rapidly falling behind in what I believe is the Audi R8. I've heard that car is currently the meta, or at least to some people, they enjoy driving it. To me, the Manti Grello is the meta of everything all the time. It doesn't really matter what the tech specs say, so long as you're rocking this livery, that is at least 2 seconds per lap. As Datsu flies off the track onto the left there, really struggling for grip with that R8. He seems to have really fried his tires. Now I'm about to make the cardinal mistake of this race. As I go way too wide out, I get the dirty air from Datsu.
Total time penalty is about 1.5 seconds.
1.3 second penalty for that meager thing, unfortunately. Now I don't want to go too aggressive. I feel like I've had enough collisions. I've had enough shameful ramming in this race further back. I don't want to ruin the race of these highly skilled and very respectful gentlemen here, as much as I am a little bit miffed about this penalty, which may just cost me first. I know we have 1 lap left. I know that I can catch him in this lap, but I'm not sure that I can get a lead of 1.3 seconds on top of that. But only time will tell as we go through this corner complex, the sweeping S's, the Porsche just carving them up in a way that the Audi simply cannot. Sure, nothing to do with my not at all broken setup. As I tap him on the rear, I let off. There's no way I'm going to do that to somebody and then overtake. So my apologies to Datsu there. He did lose the rear end and slow down a little bit there, but still it does not excuse my my little love tap on the rear. So, surprisingly, it looks like he brakes too deep there, but I think he may at the same time have been letting me through. If that was the case and you're watching this, Datsu, thank you very much. That's very sportsmanlike. If he outbraked himself, then, well, it doesn't much matter, it appears, because I can't get the time gap gain I need as I cross the line. finish first. Literally last to first, but unfortunately I end second. As you can see, we have gained 13 positions, and the boys at the Porsche factory overjoyed. Easily the most manic race of my entire life. What are your thoughts? Did you enjoy this more than my front-wheel drive scrub fest? Do you prefer it when I actually treat a race seriously and tune the car first? I certainly do. I'll see you all next time.